Okay, in case you're watching this recording, it's Matt and myself, going through an issue triage. We accrued a few issues. We cleared a bunch out last week, but I basically wanted to show Matt how I do triage. And the most important thing is obviously the triage issue. And the other thing that I always keep handy is the categories page for product, because often enough issues end up with us because they're API issues, or because we also have now this machine learning thing that assigns a lot of issues to us. So that's basically the stuff that I keep handy. So let's just have a look. And I usually start with one category, top to bottom, and then we just see what happens. Jira issue integration, allow multiple project keys. So this obviously seems one of ours because it's related to the Jira integration. Yeah. Here, because it's one of ours, I would likely to look for an appropriate epic. So this is also something that you might want to have handy, like a list of epics. I don't know if we have like a list of epics, that is just ours, but usually I just search for them on the spot. So ecosystem, and then we probably can add Jira. Jira issue integration, issue detail, improving Jira Connect app, support, expand Jira integration to support issues, Jira integration. So this is probably the one I would take. Yeah, okay. I'm just adding it to this epic because in the worst case, and milestone backlog, because it's not a customer one. Doesn't look like it. That should be good. Good enough. We can check this one and move on to the next. Okay, and these are actually ones where you might be able to help me with, because we ended up basically inheriting the Confluence stuff, right? So when you joined the team, I assume, I don't know. Yeah. What do you think?
Right. Yeah, I think, well, just some background. So yes, the knowledge team was working on this because they were responsible for wikis, or we were responsible for wikis.
Yeah.
And so we had ideas and thoughts on how the Confluence integration would work, but now the knowledge team doesn't exist, and wikis belong to the editor team. So
would you say that we give it to the editor team, or should we keep it and just move it to the backlog?
That is a great question. The editor team, I do not think they're working on anything related to wikis. Since it's Confluence related and we're working on Atlassian tools, I would think it would be ours, would be my guess.
Okay. I mean, we still should validate whether this is, because it's like cross promotion, whatever, right? I will just move it to milestone backlog. It's, appropriate milestone. It's probably the same for this one, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I ping Patrick on those. Let's just move them to the backlog and just call it a day. Oh, Jira. Oh, I actually think I just check this one without us looking at it. And I think, this one was where we had a discussion last week about the where it belongs to. It's about a list of open source projects, basically a better whatever projects overview page on an instance. I just moved it to managed and group not owned, because let product figure that one out. I mean, people discussed it, and it's a bit weird because, as you're right, it could also be growth, and as long as it doesn't show up for us, I'm happy.
Yeah. Perfect.
Cool. So we are done with those. Then let's just have a look at these ones. And I mean,
customer bugs. Okay.
Okay. So these, customer bugs are obviously important one. Okay. Links in Jira issue list redirects to Jira base URL without context path. Oh, this is interesting. So this seems to be a bug with our existing integration. It's also one that was created last week, so it's a new one.
Yeah, there's a related one that I commented on, thinking it might be duplicate, but I don't know. It's very similar, at least.
Yeah, looks like it. Yeah, looks like it. I mean, we have the import and everything, but also when we're linking to it. Yeah, so it seems to be related. To be honest, like I assume it's not that big of a deal to fix it. At least from a, that doesn't sound too hard. Probably just like a little misconfiguration, and we need to correct the links. We could. I don't know how 39 looks. Otherwise, we could give it a low priority or priority 2. It's a customer issue, so we could either go for 39 or we could go for 13. 1310. What do you think?
Right. I would put it in 13.9 for now. I think it's getting 13.9 is getting fairly full just from the stuff I've been putting in there thinking. So as we do the planning, I'm sure we're going to have to go through and prioritize what's really important. But at least it's there, then we can.
I mean, we also have like the SLO, right?
Right.
I'm just going to ping Andy because he created the other issue, right?
Yeah.
And then just milestone 13.9, and that should be it, right? I wonder if we do the same thing and it's good that I closed the epics, right? Epics equal system search Jira. Okay, this seems to be the one. Issue detail view. Issue expand integration to support issues. Probably it's still this one. Yeah, so you can just add it to this epic. Context path. This is backlog. We just opened it. Service API for Jira returns inconnect when service template is also active. Oof. Oh, this is interesting. So service templates was the way how we did like instance integrations basically before we had our instance and group integrations feature. It could be that this is some kind of side effect from that. Yeah, it's like I would just, maybe could this be a side effect from us introducing the group instance level? How are these called? Integrations? Could the customer, and then we just instance level integration, and then let's just see if we have like GitLab integrations, and I think we call it project integration management, right? And then we can just link it to the customer. And I would give it a low priority because it just seems to be the API. I would say, meh, whatever, right? And then we maybe, I would personally probably leave it to see if we get an answer so that it pops up next week. Other people like to have the thing clean.
That's all right.
What would you prefer? Just have the stuff clean and move it to the backlog right away, or?
I'm okay with having it, a couple weeks on here, or 1 or 2 weeks. Like you said.
Cool.
As long as we did some work on it to address it and ask the question, I think that's important. So.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, so this is the last one. So this is pretty interesting. So apparently a big customer has the problem that, big customer, I'm just saying that, or, because they have 900,000 issues in Jira, that the sync is being delayed via the DVCS connector. And I'm just going to ask Tristan. And I don't think if someone explained it, because if we should have the project integrations, Jira integration, and there is the Jira wow, that's nice. Jira integration. And I hope we have DVCS. No, obviously Jira server. Okay, DVCS. DVCS. Oh. Is this written here somewhere? No, so let's just search for DVCS, Jira DVCS configuration. And then, yeah. Okay. What does the customer do? Can you see this other person? I delayed the Jira DVCS connector for on-prem. Jira has an hourly delay per definition. I just wonder if that's now which.
Yeah.
As far as I know, there is no way around this. One could implement a solution by themselves by leveraging webhooks. Our event trigger is sync on the Jira side. But I would just also move it to backlog. I think this one would be, it's a known limitation. DVCS. God, it always seems. 35 sync between, improve, often, real times, yeah. So this might be a duplicate of, and then we can at least relate the two. I don't know if they, I remember that I actually looked into the Zendesk ticket. I mean, that's often what's available. Not doing it on the recording because, customer names and so on. But yeah. Okay, and then we go on to non-customer, right?
Yes.
So let's see, what do we have here? How are these sorted? So I don't know if we generally would do them from top to bottom or whatever, but maybe we are able to just do them in this call and then we don't have this problem. Navigating to a non-existent service, edit URL results in a 500 error. Navigating to edit an impression that doesn't exist, raise a 500 error rather than a 404. I don't believe that since user permissions are still respected and access relevant, but it's for UX. So just one. Okay. Yeah. I mean like label priority for. Okay, so you get the wrong error if you end up on the edit page somehow. I don't know. Okay. It has all ecosystem stuff and so on. Yeah, that's good. Yeah, I would just move it to the backlog. The only see, and this is sometimes what we forget, right? So so for example, we should have a look that these also have like proper labels for backend and front end. So this one, label backend was the one with the Jira transition, right? And
yep.
This one as well. Cool. Okay, installing, uninstalling GitLab managed apps failing due to incorrect Helm chart repository. So this is pretty interesting because it's probably not our integration. It's when you have like the auto DevOps stuff. So I would have a look.
Oh,
configure.
Fixed. Okay.
So who is configure? Let's just check. Configure group, alias Victor Nash, and backend engineering Nicholas Click. Okay. And Nash and Nicholas Click. This seems to be configure. Okay, then we can just label configure. What section is configure?
Ops, I think.
Ops, yeah, okay. Ops and DevOps. This is very helpful. So section is probably the better search. Cool.
Nice.
Yeah, this one was easy. Did I close the issue triage? Obviously, I did. Triage report. Okay, this was the managed apps. Internal 500 error when rendering special markdown files. GitLab API. Example GitLab server data payload. Response with 500. Okay, someone is sending a broken markdown and results in an issue. It's the API, but this is one of those prime examples where it's probably not API problem, because it seems also in the UI that we are not able to render that markdown. So I'd likely go and have a look who is responsible for markdown. And this, this is actually a good question. Markdown, plan stage, other functionality in the plan stage. So we just have a look who's planned. And then we can just, add Jeremy Watson, and who is the backend engineering manager for plan. Issue tracking projects. I mean, who does the most markdown? Now, probably project management, right? So maybe we can also ping Dave. And who is the backend engineering manager? Jake. Is plan as So, okay, label, plan. Plan, and then which section is that? Is that also dev? Yeah, they're also dev, right? Plan stage.
I think so.
Dev section. Yep. And then, I mean, group. No, not own. Whatever. They can figure it out. Chip. Okay. This one sounds like ML wrong. Okay, so this was project management, Redmine. Okay. Label, backend. Sounds like front end, maybe if it's a warning. Integrations. Ecosystem created, everything is right. Stone, backlog. I don't know. Do we have like Redmine? Is this a thing? No. We could have a look whether we have Redmine. Do people still use Redmine? I assume like it's open source, right? So probably like a few folks are using it for product management. But yeah, definitely one of ours. Let's just check it. We have a other meeting in 4 minutes, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So this is generally how I go through, right? I'm just looking at them, and if they don't sound like ours, and it's sometimes a bit tricky because what I've mentioned in the one retro issue that because sometimes we have integrations and they're shown in the UI as integrations like Prometheus, but we don't own them, right?
Right.
So, or like the thing that we saw before with the GitLab managed apps. I mean, it kind of looks like an integration and it's really easy to miscategorize or with the API issues. And then I generally just have a look whether I can throw them over the fence, so to speak.
Right.
I mean, it gets a bit tricky with, with these other issues. I mean, you've done it before as well. But this is all that there's to it. I try to make sure that front and backend labels are on, that the appropriate labels are on, that it might be assigned to an epic one if there is one, and otherwise just assign it to a different stage, right? So like this caught my eye. Fetching remote upstream fatal, could not read username, run CD. This sounds like one that's not integrations. This sounds like something that is also I don't know, project management, CI/CD. That's would be a good question. But this sounds like one that is removing CI, as I don't think it's CI. Yeah. Okay, I will have a look.
Great. This was very helpful. Thank you.
Yeah, this is just, and I mean, starting once we're down here, probably once we were down to 0 here, it should be not a biggie because usually we just get like between 3 and 5 a week, right? I think we just need to be prepared once I take the second part of my parental leave. that I don't come back, but I think we'll be fine by then. We shouldn't overthink it or create too much of a process, right? Yeah.
Good. Well, thank you.
Cool. And yeah, see you in 2 minutes.
All right.